In this section, we'll look at some tables and graphs. Tables and graphs are used to organize information. A pictograph uses pictures or symbols to represent data. A line graph usually represents change over time. A circle graph, or sometimes it's called a pie graph or a pie chart, represents pieces of a whole or parts of a whole. And a legend gives important information about how to read the graph or chart. So this is an example of a pictograph. It asks how many people visited in April. So we look at April and we see that there are 6 pictures there. So we have 6. But each picture represents 500. So we take 6 times 500 and we get 3,000 people visited in April. This problem is about a survey. We've got people who were asked, which would you most want to change if you could? And it asks what percent of adult males surveyed would like to be richer. So we want a percent. Now we'll talk more about percents later, but a percent is a part over a whole multiplied by 100. So the part that we're looking at is richer. That's this 636. The whole, we need to figure out how many people total we have here. So we're going to add these all up. So we have 636 plus 211 plus 228 plus 249 plus 150. And we get 1,474 people total. So that will be our whole. So in your calculator, you can type this in all at once. Type in 636 divided by 1474 times 100. And we get 43.147, and it keeps going. Now, it will tell you in the directions when you do your homework and tests and quizzes what to round to, but let's say this should have said to the nearest whole percent. So the nearest whole is to look at the number after the decimal. It tells us to leave that the same, so we'd have 43%. So here's a circle chart. It represents the number of students who were surveyed what their favorite sport was. We have 300 students who were surveyed, and they want to know how many had basketball as their favorite sport. Well, in the circle chart, it shows you that 22% said that. So it's 22% of the 300 students. So again, we've talked about how of means multiply. And we'll talk more about percents in a little bit. But in order to do this problem, we need to change this percent to a decimal. So we're going to do 22 divided by 100 and then times 300. That's because percent really means out of 100. So you can type this all into your calculator at the same time. 22 divided by 100 times the 300, and we get 66 students. So here's one more chart. It asks how much does an adult with a degree F earn over his or her career? So here's degree F, and we see that it's 3.74. But we need to be careful because at the top of that money column, it tells us in millions of dollars. So this is $3.74 million, and we want to write that as a number instead of with that decimal. So we need to think this really means 3 million. So we're going to have to write 3 comma, and that comma needs to be in the million spot. and then we write the 7-4. We need one more spot before we get to the 1,000, so we'll put a 0 there. And then 3 more zeros to finish the number. That's what puts this comma in the million spot for place value, which we did in Module 1. So that's 3,740,000. And that should help you do this section.